Hello everybody, welcome to Selkie's second supply chain webinar in the series highlighting the supply chain opportunities of the wave and tidal stream energy sector in Wales and Ireland. I hope everybody can see and hear me. We still have some numbers coming in, so we're going to crack on ahead. Please keep your eyes open for dates of future events and sign up to the Selkie newsletter. A link will be provided in the follow-up email to today's webinar, and just so you know, today's webinar will also be recorded for future viewing. So firstly, let me introduce myself as the chair of today's webinar. My name is Jay Shepherd. I'm the Marine Energy Project Manager as part of the Marine Energy Wales, or MEW team, that is supporting and delivering the Selkie project. MEW is the industry-led stakeholder group representing the wave, tidal and floating offshore wind industries in Wales. MEW brings together technology developers, test centres, wider sectoral alliances such as the Celtic Sea Alliance, the supply chain, academia and the public sector to establish Wales as a global leader in sustainable marine energy generation. Our vision is to create a thriving and diverse marine energy industry in Wales, making a significant contribution to a low carbon economy. We currently have a 60+ strong membership. We are delighted to be part of Selkie with the communications and dissemination aspects of the project and supporting Menter Môn on business engagement and knowledge transfer from universities to the sector. So following on from our first webinar, which focused on diversification opportunities for small and medium enterprises in the marine energy sector and its potential in this time of green recovery and business sustainability, in this webinar, we will be delving deeper into the installation, operations and maintenance opportunities, the O&M tool that's being developed by Selkie and the experiences of a leading tidal developer, Minesto, of their O&M and supply chain engagement activities. So as referenced in MEW's 2020 State of the Sector report, there's been over £123 million spent in Wales as of May this year on marine energy projects, and there is continued investment and progress in Ireland through projects such as Selkie. So not much of this has directly impacted on O&M thus far. We are on the cusp where the industry is progressing, and we are about to see more deployments with the associated operations and maintenance needs. So the objective is to harness the experience to date, and the tools developed during the Selkie project will assist that learning, along with continued capacity building and identifying diversification opportunities. Furthermore, the Selkie network aims to link up businesses across the Irish Sea to work together. By building the capacity in Wales and Ireland, we can set ourselves as world leaders in the sector, encouraging inward investment and significant export potential. So just as we get started on the webinar, I'm just going to go through a few guidelines and rules to make sure everything runs super smoothly. All of the attendees are on mute with no video, just to ensure that everybody can hear and see the panelists nice and clearly. If at any point you need any assistance, please click the raise hand button at the bottom or send a message via the chat. You'll be able to see the panelists who we welcome here today. They will be showing their screens and showing you their presentations of their projects. And we'll be holding a Q&A round both at the halfway point and the end of the session. So feel free to type in any questions into the Q&A feature as they come to you. So just to reiterate, we'll be using the Q&A for questions for our panelists, and the chat will be used for any technical issues. And then again, just a reminder that this webinar will be recorded and shared following the events. We also have a Mentimeter. So there's a link on screen now, which will take you to a questionnaire. We'll be looking through the answers to this questionnaire at the end to encourage some discussion and share some thoughts. So I really encourage you to take part in the Mentimeter. Either now or at a later point in the webinar, and we will be reviewing the answers later on. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, TJ Horgan, who's the project manager of Selkie, and he's going to give you an in-depth overview of what the Selkie project is all about. So over to you, TJ.
Thanks, Jay, and welcome everyone. Thank you for attending the Selkie second webinar in our outreach program. As Jay mentioned, we have the Mentimeter and we will run through it at the end of this webinar. Now, a word from our sponsors. This project has received funding from the European Union's the European Regional Development Fund through the Ireland-Wales Cooperation Programme. These are our partners. We have 6 partners in total, 2 universities, 1 from Ireland, 1 from Wales, and 4 industry partners, 2 Irish, 2 Welsh again. GDG, which is Gavin and Doherty Geosolutions. They're a Dublin-based company with interests globally, and their speciality is the Geosolutions foundation and moorings. DP Energy, based in Cork, and they have projects as far as Nova Scotia and Australia. Pembrokeshire Coastal Forum, of which Jay and Manon, Marine Energy Wales, are a part, and Menter Môn, which is a not-for-profit organisation based in Anglesey, and they are our public engagement and SME support company. Now, I'll give a brief outline of the Selkie projects, what we aim to do, and our project outputs. One tool we want to develop is a geographic information system and a techno-economic tool suitable for Irish and Welsh wave and tidal enterprises and developers. This tool will propose sites and produce techno-economic recommendations. The GIS aspect will allow for identification of potential sites, and the techno-economic element will assess at these sites. GDG are leading the work package on our foundation and mooring design model. This tool will help developers design the most cost-effective and efficient method for their type of device and the conditions in that particular sea area. Swansea University and UCC are going to be physically and numerically modeling wave and tidal devices and arrays. This will help advance the sector as a whole. Swansea University are leading up the work package on sensors, and we're going to have new types of sensors. Selkie will trial drones to measure surface currents. Selkie will further develop a low-cost data logger, and Selkie will build and validate an easy deployable and portable converging beam ADCP system. And what this webinar will be speaking about later is Selkie will produce a bespoke and up-to-date operations and maintenance model for our region. Through our partners, we will have knowledge transfer, business engagement and support, and training on the open source Selkie tools. I'm going to give a quick crash course on a sister project, the MATES project, the Maritime Alliance for Fostering the European Blue Economy through the Marine Technology Skills Strategy. This project will investigate where the future skills shortage in this renewable energy sector is going to be and address that shortage through a series of courses. In the main drivers of change in shipbuilding and offshore renewable energy, MATES will also validate actions and priorities suggested by the skills strategy through the setup of 11 pilot case studies. So if you're interested in this or know someone who is, the main contact there is Jennifer Fox at Aquaterra. And you can also follow them on Twitter.
Thank you, TJ, for that. Oh, you okay there?
Short and sweet.
Well, thank you for that. That's a good overview there of all the different work areas that Selkie is currently working on. So today's webinar, we're focusing on the operations and maintenance side of things. So we're going to hone in on that now. We're going to be going to our next speaker, who's Dr. Fiona Devoy-McAuliffe of the University College Cork. She's going to be talking a little bit more about the operation and maintenance tools that are being developed as part of Selkie. So over to you when you're ready, Fiona.
Hi, I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see that okay, Jay?
Yep.
Okay. So hi, everyone. My name's Fiona Devoy-McAuliffe. I'm a research fellow in the Marai Centre, University College Cork. My main area of research is the financial assessment and optimization of offshore renewable energy projects, wind, wave and tidal, although I've mostly been focusing on offshore wind up until now. So today I just wanted to to present where we're at in the Selkie project in regards to the O&M and logistics work package that we're undertaking and the Selkie tool we're developing. So my presentation today, I'm going to start off with an overview of the ocean energy sector. What are the targets and where is it currently at? Then I'm going to discuss the challenges the sector is facing, focusing on the need to reduce costs, and looking at the potential of savings in optimizing logistics. With the trajectory of introducing to you guys our plans to develop a tool in Selkie, and also what sort of input we're looking for from industry in order to develop this tool and ensure it has the most relevant functionality for industry going forward. So Europe's goal is to become carbon neutral by 2050. As I'm sure we're generally all aware, ocean energy resource is considerable. By 2050, it's estimated we could deliver 100 gigawatts of capacity as part of the overall contribution from ORE. But the prime advantage of ocean energy is that it's flexible and it's predictable. So it could play an important role in smoothing production peaks and balancing Europe's electricity grid, complementing the other sources, for example, from wind as well as from solar. Other benefits of ocean energy, we're looking at a potential estimated market worth of 53 billion by 2050 globally, and 400 jobs in Europe. This could considerably contribute to the revival of coastal communities with new job prospects, attracting young people back to rural areas, encouraging investment in associated infrastructure like ports and roads in the areas, and providing opportunities for existing local supply chain companies to diversify. So that's the targets for ocean energy. Where are we currently at? Well, by the end of 2018, the total OE installed capacity reached 31.4 megawatts. These are mostly single unit prototypes and demonstrators. And in the slide, I've included some charts from the Joint Research Centre that show a breakdown of the tidal and wave installed capacity per developer up until 2018. Obviously, we're further than that at this stage. But these charts indicate the overall trends and also show the more rapid development in tidal energy devices to a higher technology readiness level. Although we can also see from particularly 2019 and some of the planned projects for 2020 that there is more full-scale WECs going into the water. So there's some big strides being made in the wave energy converters to bring it on par with the tidal energy devices in the future. What are the main challenges for the ocean energy sector in order to go from where we're at to the targets that we were talking about? Well, the main challenge is obviously technical. Wave energy is less advanced than tidal. Both are facing technical challenges. There's a lack of infrastructure and the need to stimulate supply chain growth, building on synergies with related industries, particularly offshore wind, I think. And there's a need to reduce risk and to increase investment. So reducing risks in terms of improving survivability, reliability, and reducing costs. And just in that context, to give you an overview of the current estimates for early arrays, the levelized cost of energy estimate would be 34 to 63 cent per kilowatt hour for wave and 24 to 47 cent per kilowatt hour for tidal. But the targets are to actually get to 10 cent per kilowatt hour for tidal by 2030 and for wave by 2035. So there's considerable cost reduction required in order to get us to that target, which would achieve parity with other forms of energy production. So how is research tackling this need for cost reduction, particularly considering the multiple different types of concepts, both fixed and floating for tidal and wave? Well, one area that is being looked at is logistics. The deployment and operation of wave and tidal farms is and will be very expensive. Some figures or estimates that have been shown in the current literature indicate that installation costs could represent 18% of lifetime costs for wave and 27% for tidal, while operation and maintenance costs make up 17% of lifetime costs for a wave array and 19% for tidal. So this is an area with the potential for dramatic and early cost reductions. But what are the main challenges in terms of logistics for a wave and tidal array? And how could we find cost reductions in terms of logistics? I've put together a very brief sort of overview of what I think are some of the key logistical challenges for both wave and tidal arrays, which you can probably see have a lot of similarities with offshore wind, particularly floating offshore wind, as that's in a earlier stage of development. But just to go through them, one of the first logistical challenges I would say is the lack of standard practices. So you have so many different concepts with very full scale